Our topic for today's popular divination is what kind of atmospheric beauty you are. Now please keep calm, close your eyes for 3 seconds, and use your first intuition to start from the following video. Next one too. Choose the card that resonates with you the most out of the 3. First, let's look at the first group of cards. I think the first group of cards should be more like Linja's girl's feeling. Just look at it and feel very cultured. She doesn't talk much and makes people feel comfortable, just like the feeling Shenjai gives, that kind. The feeling of the goddess in the youthful campus. First, let's take a look at the appearance of the new Total Policy Commissioner in the card game, the new Closed City Total Policy Commissioner. Honestly, very obedient. Then looking at you, they would think, it feels like looking at a fierce beauty. Then also very obedient and pragmatic. At first glance, you look comfortable. You look like a good kid. Then let's look at the new B6 Political Commissioner. The new B6 Political Commissioner also has a kind of feeling upon contact, polite, and then will feel very when chatting. But when you get to know you deeply, you'll find out that you are relatively she is quite stubborn and independent girl. The new 6 Zhengwei should be a card of reciprocity. So I feel that you are a girl who actually doesn't need others' help, which is a bit different from your appearance. You're quite independent and you value ideals. You feel compelled to return what others give you, otherwise you'd feel uncomfortable. Because of the new B6 Zhengwei, he is just a card. Relatively speaking, the pay and reward are quite equal, so you won't have the feeling of owing others. Then let's look at the whole War 5 legislators. I think it's about you. The most fascinating point is, inadvertently, it's what you exude. It's from the depths of your heart. The original tenacity is that kind of stubbornness at that time in my heart. A very eye-catching feeling, so I think you should be. It's easy to grow fondness over time. That one, in appearance, you are just tame and clever. A quite quiet appearance can see is actually a bit handsome in heart, or say there is that tenacity or that stubbornness, because the authority of Navy, this card is a persist under conflict. You are adhering to your own principles. The card you picked, you seem to have no opinion on the outside, huh? It may appear that you will listen more to your parents and take your friends' advice, but in fact, you always have your own principles within, but you take some bottom lines very seriously. You're somewhat introverted. If one spends enough time with you, they know.
Thank you for your attention.
It's really a bit confusing just by appearance. It's that you are really independent and also very resilient. So I think you should be. I feel that you're just right for that kind. It gives a kind of contrast feeling. It looks like, gentle, and then when you get in touch, you find that this girl is a bit different. The above is an interpretation about the Justice left wing. I hope it can help you. Next, let's look at the second set of cards. I think your style is quite versatile, sweet, and likable. You shouldn't limit yourself. I think you must be the kind of beauty that radiates an atmosphere. Every kind feels suitable, giving an impression of being able to pull off different vibes, including strict, sweet, soft, charming, intellectual, and open-minded. When philosophical, it looks quite decent. Quite philosophical. First, let's look at the Queen's Rise in the chess cards. This card is a queen. It looks like it's carrying a card. So the first 2 absolutes you give to people are quite upright, but in fact, when you see the second eye, you will find that you should also be a joker because he is the Queen's inverse way. In this way, the number is a bit different from the common sense in our daily life, because you can just look and see which queen would wear pajamas, right? lying lazily on a sofa. The posture is very comfortable, so I think you are still a dish that's delicate yet rotten. It's really quite exquisite. You pay a lot of attention to your appearance. When you say you're lazy, you're indeed quite slack. It's quite comprehensive. The conflict is good. Then let's look at the 8 diagrams. This card he is a fire element card, and his movement or how he is quite fast. So I think this card, actually deep down, you're a person a bit like the sun. You are somewhat like a person shining brightly. When you laugh, it's a bit like a sunflower. So I think delicate is also suitable, then gentle is also suitable, then intellectual is also suitable, just like a queen. It feels like anything fits when you combine many nouns, but I think combining with the next 2 cards, you should still suit the kind of content that is more obviously moving. I think that should be the most suitable for you, because 双向八指 itself is a very burning fire element. And if it is V3 heavy defense, it is also a card that likes eating, drinking, and having fun, and likes the fire pit. Although I know about socializing and making friends, it's not about how much, but about trying your best. But sometimes I also enjoy the feeling of going out with many people, playing very happily and carefree. That's a feeling you also yearn for and like. And I quite like that atmosphere, but sometimes only one person left quietly. When you need quietness, you might still hope to be alone and be quiet, but when you want to play, you still hope to have fun. So I think this deck suits all styles the best, but I think the most suitable is still the more enchantment style because of you. Playing is really too dazzling. It feels like it can attract a lot of people's eyes, whether it's the same sex or the opposite sex. It feels like it can attract, and I think if you shape yourself to be more dazzling, I think it will. Some social interactions with you are also beneficial because I will feel the appearance of the Queen card. I think it is actually you when you're willing in front of people who haven't known for a long time. You are actually a bit slow to warm up, a bit reserved, not knowing how to interact. If you say your whole person's the way one dresses, that kind of feeling, that kind of temperament, if it's more towards the infatuated type, it might also. It helps you better communicate with some newly met people, such as new colleagues or friends. It's not that people look at you for the first time and feel that this girl is so high energy and formal, isn't she hard to get along with? But in fact, once you interact, you find that you're actually quite easy to get along with. The above is about the interpretation of the voltage leftist. Hope it can help you. Finally, let's take a look at the 3rd group. The 3rd group gives me a sense of independence. So also quite intellectual. I feel more of a literary vibe from you. Quite heavy. I think your personal empathy or something on you. You think quite deeply about something, so I think you are more of an intellectual type. The kind of intellectual range of beauty. Because when it comes to card games, the Chalice Upright appears. Actually, the Chalice Upright card, the stage is relatively shallow, and it might feel a bit like your past life experience might also be affected by some things. Got confused, right? Like some material stuff and some other things. Because this person can clearly, he is sitting on a bench and proudly showing the 9 holy cups behind him to others. That is the achievement of his life. Then he is pursuing some things like material stuff, good looking, outer appearances, and all sorts of miscellaneous things, showing them off to others and so on. So I think this is somewhat like the level of your past performance. This feels a bit like your growth trajectory. I think this set of cards, then let's look at the devil. This one still has some things that attract him. You are also bound by some things. If you shoot this way, you can see that you have actually thought about it. Just think about it. You really have tried what you once wanted. And perhaps you've just discovered you're trapped in a certain trap. So you think about it and then you find what really suits you. A thing that really suits you. So I think whether it is your consumption view, emotional view, or well, when it comes to dealing with people in life, you actually have your own set of views, deep thought. And actually your values are correct because you can actually resist some temptations. Weak temptation can be taken lightly and can generate some antibodies. Actually, if we look from the front, you can see so much because a card of temperance appeared in the end. That card of temperance is a card of harmony, so I think you really have experienced some temptations and then gradually settle yourself. Then there is a feeling of sublimation because there is moderation. This card is actually more moderate because you can see an angel holding 2 cups and then the water pouring back and forth, not a drop of water. There is no leakage. Every drop of water from this cup to another cup is a very good balance. It feels a bit like the middle way. So I think what's inside you is actually very appealing because you have depth inside. There's a lot of stuff that's actually very transparent. So I think this set of cards, I think you should be the kind of person whose temperament is from inside to outside. That kind of intellectual, something that has been precipitated over a certain period of time, or we could say over time, long family. I think it should be more towards knowledge or philosophy anyway, just more. Because maybe if you are still a relatively intelligent person right now, then it's quite artistic. The above discussion is an interpretation of these 3 groups. Hope it can help you